A teacher wants to do a little quiz with her students. Teacher, guess what this is? Which animal has a beak and feathers? Random student, a duck. Teacher, that's right, but it could also be a goose. Next question, which animal has claws and fur? Random student, a dog. Teacher, that's right, but it could also be a cat. Our greater than a boy steps in front of the teacher and says, "Now I have a question for you." Teacher, sure, go ahead. Boy, what's this? First it's long, hard, and dry, then you stick it into something warm and soft, and after some repeated motions, it's soft, short, and wet. The teacher immediately slaps the boys in the face. The boy smiling says, "That's right, but it could have been a chewing gum." An Indian is calmly having his breakfast when an American, who is chewing gum, sits down beside him. The Indian ignores the American, who begins to chat. The American asks, "Do you eat the bread entirely?" The Indian answers, "Of course." American, we do know. We only eat the inner part. The crust is put in a container processed, transformed into flour sold to Indians. The Indian says nothing. The American continues, "Do you eat this jelly with the bread?" Indian, "Of course." American, we do not. We eat fresh fruits for breakfast, and then put the seeds and peels into a container. Later, it is processed, transformed into jelly, and sold to Indians. The Indian finally asks, "And what do you do with the condoms after using them?" American, "We throw them away, of course." Indian, "We do not. We keep them in containers, process them, transform them into chewing gum, and sell it to the United States." An elementary school student gets gum stuck in his hair. So the nurse takes him to the science teacher and says, "Can you get the gum out of his hair?" The science teacher responds, "Of course, it's just a matter of having the right solvent." An hour later, the nurse asks the science teacher, "Have any luck?" The science teacher responds, "Yes, here's the gum back." What starts with F and ends with K? A first grade teacher, Ms. Brooks, was having trouble with one of her more precocious students. The teacher asked, "Harry, what exactly is your problem?" Harry answered, "I'm too smart for the first grade. My sister is in the third grade, and I'm smarter than she is. I think I should be in the third grade too." Ms. Brooks finally had enough. She took Harry to the principal's office. While Harry waited in the outer office, the teacher explained the situation to the principal. The principal told Ms. Brooks he would give the boy a test. If he failed to answer any of his questions, he was to go back to the first grade and behave. She agreed. Harry was brought in, the conditions were explained to him, and he happily agreed to take the test. Principal, what is 3 times 3? Harry, 9. Principal, what is 6 times 6? Harry, 36. And so it went with every question the principal thought a bright third grader should know. The principal looks at Ms. Brooks and tells her, "You know, I reckon Harry can go to the third grade." But Ms. Brooks is still skeptical of the little bugger and says to the principal, "Not so fast. Let me ask him a few questions." The principal and Harry both agree. Ms. Brooks asks, "What does a cow have 4 of that I have only 2 of?" Harry, after a moment, "Legs." Ms. Brooks, "What is in your pants that you have but I do not have?" The principal wondered why she would ask such a question. Harry replied, "Pockets," to the principal's great relief. Ms. Brooks, "What does a dog do that a man steps into?" Harry, "Pants." By now, the principal is sitting forward with his mouth hanging open. Ms. Brooks, "What goes in hard and pink then comes out soft and sticky?" Now the principal's eyes are really wide, and before he could intervene, Harry replied, "Bubble gum." Ms. Brooks, "What does a man do standing up, a woman does sitting down, and a dog does on 3 legs?" Harry, "Shake hands." The principal is now trembling with apprehension as Ms. Brooks asks the last question. Ms. Brooks, "What word starts with an F and ends in K and indicates a great deal of heat and excitement?" Harry, "Fire truck." The principal breathes a huge sigh of relief and tells the teacher, "Put the little bastard in 5th grade. I got the last 7 questions wrong myself." A man goes to the dentist to ask how much it would be to pull a tooth. $100, said the dentist. Oh, that's expensive, said the man. Do you have anything cheaper? That's the normal price for an extraction, said the dentist. The man thinks about it. What about if you don't use the anesthetic? Well, that would be unusual, but we could do that. It would be about $75. The man thinks some more. What about if you used a trainee and no anesthetic? Well, said the dentist, I think that could work, but it would be a lot more painful. I think that would be about $35. The man thought some more. That's still a lot. What if you make it a training session with a student doing the extraction, and the other students can watch? The dentist says. Okay, that would be good for the students, but it will be traumatic to have it done that way. I'll charge you $5 for that. Great, said the man. That's perfect. Can I book my wife for her appointment on Wednesday? A man went to the dental surgeon to have a tooth pulled. The dentist pulls out a freezing needle to give the man. No way. No needles. I hate needles, the patient said. The dentist starts to hook up the laughing gas, and the man again objects. I can't do the gas thing. The thought of having the gas mask on is suffocating to me. The dentist then asks if the man has any objections to taking a pill. No, the patient says. I am fine with pills. The dentist then returns and says, here is a Viagra tablet. The patient says, wow, I didn't know Viagra worked as a pain pill. It doesn't, said the dentist and continued, but it will give you something to hold on to when I pull out your tooth. A human couple meets an alien couple. So naturally, they decided it would be fun partners. The alien woman goes off with the human man, and the alien man goes off with the human woman. The alien man and human woman get and he asks her, is it long enough? She replies, it could be a bit longer, I suppose. So the alien man slaps himself on the forehead a few times, and it grows longer. Then he asks her, is it wide enough? And again she says, I guess it could be just a bit wider. So he starts tugging at his own ears, and it gets a bit wider. An hour or so later, the human couple get together to discuss. The man asks the woman, so how was your experience with the alien man? Be honest. She says, honestly? No offense to you, but that was the single greatest experience of my life. What about you and the alien woman? The man replies, don't get me wrong, it was good and all, but she kept slapping me in the head and pulling at my ears really hard. Dr. Parker, the biology instructor at a posh suburban girls' junior college, said during class, Miss Smith, would you please name the organ of the human body, which under the appropriate conditions, expands to 6 times its normal size, and define the conditions? Miss Smith gasped, blushed deeply, then said freezingly, Dr. Parker, I do not think that is a proper question to ask me. You should be asking a boy. And I assure you, my parents will hear of this. With that, she sat down, very red-faced. Unperturbed, Dr. Parker called on Miss Johnson and asked the same question. Miss Johnson, with composure, replied, the pupil of the eye, in dim light. Correct, said Dr. Parker. And now, Miss Smith, I have 3 things to say to you. 1, you have not studied your lesson. 2, you have a dirty mind. And 3, you will someday be faced with a dreadful disappointment.